Hello and welcome back to the Calculator Review, hosted on Caliquin.com. Today I'm actually doing something genuinely different. This really isn't so much reviews as it is discussions, and what I'm talking about today is my calculator graveyard. I've mentioned this before, that I have several calculators that don't work, and I've been wanting to do a video on them and just talk about why they're broken, what I've tried to do with them, and so forth. So starting with, I'm just grabbing these out of a bag. Okay, so I actually have reviewed this calculator. So this one has a broken ribbon on the inside, and I'm not going to take it apart because everything just kind of falls out. I wasn't terribly upset that this one failed on me because I ended up finding one that was almost identical. It seemed to come from the same company, and yeah, so I have reviewed this calculator, and there is a video, and I'll probably, if I remember, I'll post a link to it at the bottom. Okay, so not much to say about that one. Aha. So this one's pretty upsetting, and fortunately I do have a working one, but this calculator is clear, as you can see through it. So none of the buttons work because the screen's cracked, so it's not making any contact with those. The company that sent this to me, I ended up getting in contact with them and asked them if I could get another one, and they sent it to me free of charge, because this was very poorly packaged, and the 7 works. There's no fixing this one. I don't have the capabilities of repairing glass or plastic, or I think that's glass. So yeah, this one is never going to work properly again, which is fine. I mean, it was actually very cheap, and I'm not terribly upset about this one. So I'm just randomly grabbing out of this bag that keep all these calculators in. The TI-1000, this is another calculator I've reviewed, and I think it's pretty obvious why this one doesn't work. It has no internal components. I found this at Goodwill, and half the keys weren't working and the screen was messed up, so I took it apart and found some broken ribbons inside of it, and I attempted to repair them, but in the process ended up tearing the ribbon even further, and I had to end up just giving up, and I threw away all the internal components because they were just shot. And it was really a shame because I was so excited about finding a TI-1000. What I ended up doing was ordering another one on eBay that works, and I now have that in my collection. I'm very happy with it. I love the TI-1000. It is a historical calculator, and I can't bring myself to throw this shell away because I'd like to do something with it at some point. Maybe stick a Raspberry Pi in it and build my own little calculator. I don't know. Haven't really thought that far ahead with it, but I'm not going to throw away such an important part of calculator history. So moving on. This one is the saddest of the bunch. This is a calculator from the Soviet Union. It's an Electronica Mark 36. I had to order this from the Ukraine. Yeah. I actually did manage to get this thing working briefly, and I was so excited. I think I might have done a video of it, I'm not sure, but something happened and it doesn't work now, and I'm pretty heartbroken about that because this is such a cool calculator. I'd like to order another one, but they're very, very hard to find for a reasonable price. So yeah, I ordered this on eBay. It was actually incredibly cheap. That's why I was so excited that's why I was willing to get it. But there's some kind of issue going on with the wiring. I'm not sure. I've taken it completely apart, but sadly, I don't think this thing's gonna work again. And I'm pretty hurt about that one because I was so excited to have a Soviet Union calculator. the build quality is just amazing. This thing is just basically a solid block of metal. Everything is just built really sturdy. It's just, I imagine this thing went through hell and back, and yeah, it just couldn't survive whatever it went through. But another one I will not get rid of simply because it is still stunning and beautiful to look at. Definitely my favorite in the calculator graveyard. And then there's the Unisonic LC588. As you can see, the screen on this is messed up. I have tried very hard to fix this. I took it apart, and there's some very, very small connections that I'm unable to fix. Fortunately, this is a pretty bog standard calculator, so I'm not terribly upset. It's not historical by any stretch, but it does have some unique features. Like I do like the tilted screen. I like the fact that the solar panel's on the back, and it even has it can run on battery, which is kind of neat. You don't typically see a AA battery calculator also work with solar energy, which, I don't know, I thought that was cool. And I found this one at Goodwill for just a couple bucks, and it didn't work then, but I thought maybe I could do something about it. Sadly, I could not. Alright, what's next? Oh, this one. This one's especially heartbreaking. When I got this, it worked perfectly. I actually have changed the way I do calculator reviews because of this calculator. Before, I would always take the calculator apart, clean it up, and fix any issues with it, and then put it back together and then do a calculator review. I no longer do that because I took this thing apart and I broke it. The touchscreen was disconnected. Oh, yeah, so you can hear it actually does kind of work. This wasn't a cheap calculator either. That's what makes it even worse, because I did spend quite a bit of money on this. I think it was like 20 bucks. And it was in immaculate condition, and I thought, hey, I should take it apart before the review, and I broke it. That's entirely on me. I have no one to blame but myself. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix this thing, but that's a shame. So I'm hoping to find another one, but this calculator is no longer being manufactured by Brookstone, and finding another one is pretty difficult. But if I do manage to get a working one, that thing will never be taken apart. Instead, I'll just show the insides of this one, since it's broken. Moving on. So this one I found at Wonderbook for 95 cents. And this is a Casio FX 1115W. And you might be able to see, stuff actually does appear on the screen, but it's basically in gibberish, or Braille. I don't really know what the issue is with this one. I haven't been able to figure it out. I have taken it apart, tried reconnecting some things on the inside, but I had no luck. I only paid 95 cents for this, so I'm not terribly upset, and when I purchased it, it was not functioning properly, so I knew what I was getting myself into. But I was really hoping I could do a calculator repair video on this one and make it work again. Okay, so this one is in a bag. If you've been following my calculator reviews, you might know why this one is very upsetting to me. This is an Aurora calculator. One of the very first calculator that started these calculator reviews was the Aurora DC-10, which is still my favorite calculator. I absolutely love that. So when I found this for really cheap, I was so excited because I would get to review another Aurora. But as you can see, the buttons don't work. It turns on and off, but that's it. when I took this apart, the membrane inside of it, it's made of rubber and it is completely worn down. So this thing might have a chance someday if I can figure out how to. Oh. Okay, so sometimes the buttons do work, but it's very unreliable. But that's because those connections are just so loose. So if I shake it around, it suddenly loses. So it's not reliable at all. But this one I actually do feel like I'll be able to save, which is why I put it in the bag. I just need to get a new membrane to put under there, and then some, I guess, graphite connectors. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing a video on the full repair of this, and I really want to get it to work because it's an Aurora, and I would love to have another working Aurora. And lastly, I'm kind of surprised that nobody's asked me about this yet. This is the TI-83 Plus. This thing does turn on, but actually I'll just show you. I found this at Goodwill in very rough shape, but it is only like 50 cents, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And it's pretty broken beyond repair. And I also have another TI-83 Plus, so it wasn't a very high priority to get it working again. Oh, where are my AAAs? I'm making a mess here. So, I've been wanting to do reviews of graphing calculators. I have not yet, for various reasons. One, I don't know how to program with these things yet. I'm still learning, but you can see how broken the screen is. It's got bad connections. The calculator, the underlying processing and all that does work. It's just the screen that doesn't. So you can't really see it, but it did solve 55 times 6. So I actually did make a video where I attempted to repair this, but I had no luck, and I'm not sure if I posted that on YouTube or not. But I've been wanting to do graphing calculator reviews, and I have a lot in my collection. Unfortunately, I have not done any kind of videos on them or reviews because I don't feel like I can review them very fairly without getting into their more interesting features. So that's going to be a learning process for me. It's been a very, very long time since I last used any of the TI-80 series or any graphing calculators, so I'm not familiar with them anymore. And I've been focusing a lot more on other vintage computing, especially the Commodore 64 lately. But, so I was pretty excited to find this, even though it was in such rough shape. The person who owned it before had completely covered it in permanent marker. Buttons were all messed up. I mean, this thing was just in awful shape. And I restored it back to a somewhat okay state, but it doesn't work, so it stays in the calculator graveyard. And that's it for this. So, taking a quick look back. Pose all these to look nice, I guess. So yeah, some of these I do have duplicates of, so it's not a big deal. But others, especially this one, I'm very upset that are broken, and of course my Soviet Union calculator. I really hope I can get my hands on another one of these sometime soon, because I want to work in one in my collection very badly. So, anyway, that's all I've got for this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this slightly different thing. Anyway, have a great day. Bye!